Well, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to K24's NewsCut. My name is Anjlee Gadhvi and our sign language interpreter is Walter Asewe. Welcome to the program. To begin with, 10 out of 11 rhinos that were translocated to Tsavo from Nairobi National Park are dead. Addressing the media today, Tourism CS Najib Balala further confirmed that the 11th rhino is currently being treated after it was attacked by a lion. Dan Kaburu now will be giving us the details later, but let's cross over to the ministry headquarters at NSSF buildings where the CS is currently addressing a presser. Let's listen in.
From where you are seated, just tell us what loss has the country suffered now in the hands of, you are saying it's negligence. Can you try to quantify for us?
Well, you cannot quantify death, and you cannot quantify such a heritage. We have taken time. In the year 1973, we had 7,000 rhinos in Tsavo East National Parks, black rhinos. By the year 1979, we had only 200 rhinos in Tsavo National Park. So that's a big loss. At the moment, we have increased our numbers from 300 rhinos all over the country in 1989 to today we have 1,200 rhinos in the country. So even one rhino is a huge loss. So we are sad and we are disappointed with some of the officers who should have taken responsibilities, and they didn't take their work seriously. They were casual in their job. They delegated to junior officers, including chairing the final translocation steering committee meeting, which should have done a checklist and ticked the box. And before that also, the DG should have taken responsibility to counter-check and verify that, that process. But you have seen that from David, that process was outdated. It was a 1990 process. That process was never reviewed after the EIA done in 2011 by Dr. Mohammed Omar. It was just not done. The water salinity tests were done. They were not taking responsibility in terms of making sure don't give water to the rhinos which have high salinity. And this is like the borehole number 2 was the one that used to feed or to give the water, the rhinos the water of the worst borehole ever. So that is, and then the local management of the park, which is Tsavo, that's why Mwangangi has to step aside, is because he took no interest. It was a silo mentality that was going on in KWS, and that's why we have directed KWS board to make sure they realign the whole organization to one hierarchy, and then the creation of CEO and a chief advisor to the DG created even a worse reporting lines. So that is the action we are taking immediately now. Yes. Yes, madam. Well, that's why I said last time that there was very slow communication. Either there was panic or now everybody was running away from responsibility. And that's why even the information coming to us was when now the 8th rhino died. First it was 6 rhinos, then communicated to us 6, and then immediately there were 8 rhinos, and then the 9th rhino died. And this is where the mistake of KWS officers. The second thing is that all this should have captured in picture, which they promised me that they have, and they have the rhino horns verified. I'm told all the rhino carcasses decompose immediately because of the salt poisoning done by the boreholes. So all this are part of the responsibility that KWS has failed as officers, and we're taking action on them.
Waziri, one of the challenges that sorry.
All right, so that's the CS giving the press a brief about what really happened to the 10 rhinos that are dead. And just to add on that, now the following officers on that note are suspended and are awaiting action in the translocation issue of the rhinos. That is Dr. Kasike, Dr. Francis Gakuye, who is the head of the translocation of the rhinos, Dr. Isaac Lecorel, Felix Mwangangi, Senior Warden, Savo East, Dr. Mohammed Omar, Head of Ecological Team, and Frederick Orara, Senior Scientist of Savo East. That was a full report that the CS gave as to the reason why the rhinos died, most of it being negligence. And to quote him, he said, they cannot quantify the deaths. Now moving to the Nyanza politics and the petitions that have been ongoing, we'll be crossing over to our reporter, Baraka Karama, in Kisumu, where Mr. Joel Makorion Sando had challenged the victory over massive irregularities with the Kisii governor, that is James Ongwae. And also in Nyamira, one of the petitions was on John Nyangarama, that is in Nyamira. Now, both petitions have been upheld. Baraka, if you give us a clear indication as whose petitions have been upheld and what is the latest in terms of this situation. Baraka?
Well, Anjlee, it's a sigh of relief for two governors of the larger Kisii region, the Kisii County Governor James Ongwae, together with his Nyamira County counterpart John Nyangarama. Both elections have been upheld by the appellate court following an appeal that was filed by one Joel Omwando Omari at the appeal court seeking to nullify the election of the Kisii County Governor James Ongwae following the decision that was made by the Kisii court that upheld his election following the August 8 polls. So today, Justice Gitumbu, delivering the ruling on behalf of the three bench judges, said that the appellate court had no jurisdiction to nullify the election of the Kisii County Governor on grounds that the elections were conducted free and fair. And during his ruling, Justice Gitumbu also ordered the petitioner to pay a sum of 3 million shillings to the IBC, together with the sitting governor for Kisii County, James Ongwae. Of course, also in the other ruling that we are following out for the Nyamira County Governor, John Nyangarama, the petition was filed by the former MP Walter Nyambati, and of course that petition has also been dismissed on grounds that it lacked merit. While delivering the ruling, Justice Gitumbu said that the appellate court found no substantial evidence that warranted it to nullify the elections that were upheld by the High Court in Kisii. So of course it's a celebration here in Kisumu. We've just spoken to the governor of Kisii County, who was said that of course he is satisfied with the ruling by the appellate court. We also spoke to the incumbent governor of Nyamira, John Nyangarama, who also said that of course he is satisfied with the ruling, and that gives the two upper hand, or rather energy to start with the to jumpstart the projects that they had pledged during their campaigns before the August 8 poll. So of course it's been a busy day here at the Kotoba field in Kisumu. Supporters of both the governors had jumped the court corridors just to get the actual ruling by the appellate court. So of course that's a story that we have been following up, and of course in our subsequent bulletin we'll give you an up-to-date information in regards to that particular ruling. What I can say is that the two governors, James Ongwae and John Nyangarama, can now breathe a sigh of relief after the appellate court upheld their elections. Anjlee.
All right, thank you very much, Baraka Karama. They're giving us the latest, where, of course, Nyanza province is in jubilation after both the victories, or rather both the petitions, were upheld. Moving on, Education Cabinet Secretary Dr. Amina Mohammed has said that most schools that have been demolished in the ongoing demolition of the illegal structures on the path of the proposed 2 billion shillings road, insisting that the students will be relocated to the neighbouring schools. Speaking while launching the disaster management policy, Amina now wants schools that are not registered to hasten the process of registration. The CS at that same time also noted that the students who were affected by the natural calamities such as floods will be relocated to other neighbouring schools in the country, even where the Form 4 will be able to sit for their exams.
Most of them were registered, but we want to make sure that any schools that are not registered actually begin that process, and we will support them and help them to just make sure that every school on this in this country is properly registered. We are placing them in the nearest schools because their education and their learning cannot be disrupted. So that's what we are going to be doing. We've actually started doing it already. We've identified which schools are closest to the schools that were demolished, and we've begun placing them there.
Now, employers with over 30 female employees have been called upon to provide breastfeeding space for their employees in a bid to promote exclusive breastfeeding. Speaking during a media breakfast meeting held by the Ministry of Health ahead of Breastfeeding Week, a week set aside to create awareness on the need to promote exclusive breastfeeding, the head of Nutrition and Dietetics under the Ministry of Health, Gladys Mugambi, said most women discontinue breastfeeding after 4 months, a move often linked to myths and misconceptions linked with breastfeeding and lack of breastfeeding spaces for working mothers. The Ministry of Health now says it is developing guidelines on workplace breastfeeding support to enable employers create a conducive working environment for their lactating employees.
There is again the perception that it's very difficult, which affects many women. The other reason is that many women are working. So when they finish their leave, if they are not planned well, they find themselves trying to introduce the baby to other foods so that by the time they are going to work, they can be able to continue feeding. So that could be the reason. And that is why we are now saying we can support these mothers even at the workplace so that they continue breastfeeding. And breastfeeding, when it does not occur directly, can be done through expressing the milk so that the baby is fed.
Breast milk is the mother, that is the first immunization of the baby. Babies are more, their immune system is boosted by the mother's milk, even as you take them now later for other vaccinations, but they get out of immune system from the breast milk.
And this female has to go through their work life. They have to be able to have a family if they wish to do so, and they must be able to feel supported. In terms of productivity, we believe that productivity actually increases when the employee is happier, they have peace of mind, they don't have to worry.
All right, just news in that we can cross over to Mombasa, where the petitions were also going on, where both Mombasa Nyali MP Muhammad Ali and also Changamwe Omar Muni have both been upheld. Both petitions have been upheld. So that is there. We'll be giving you more updates on that particular story as they are coming in. But I've been told, let's just listen in. We do have the bites right now.
Ni kile ambacho tunafaa tukumbuke ya kwamba hakuna wakili bora zaidi ya Mwenyezi Mungu. Namshukuru wakili wangu kwa kusimama na mimi na kufuatilia kesi hii, na anasema asante sana pamoja na kikosi chake. Mungu awabariki. Na washukuru pia Wananyali na Wakenya kwa jumla, wale wote waliokuwa pamoja na sisi kimaombi, kutupa motisha na kutuambia kwamba mambo yatakuwa sawa.
nimwakilishe Mheshimiwa Omar Mwinyi. Kutoka mwanzo tulijua hii kesi iko weak. Tulijua ya kwamba huyu mtu kila anatafuta hakiwezi. Tulimshinda katika election ambayo ilikuwa free and fair.
Lucky day for both Mombasa and Nyanza. All right, crossing over to Parliament buildings where the ongoing sugar probe is being discussed. The government chemist S.G. Njoroge had failed to appear before the Joint Parliamentary Committee probing the contraband sugar scandal. Now, he is expected to appear at 3 p.m. Now, PS Karanja Kibicho had since communicated to the committee requesting for both, or rather all, participants to be there today. For more, we are joined by Chemtai Ngoyin, who is at Parliament, to give us more on the issue and whether, the government chemist will show up or not. It's been a real retaliation against, and a defiance really to who is coming and who is not coming. Going, is this really allowed, and where are we going with this contraband sugar now?
Well, Anjlee, like you said, this afternoon we are expecting the government chemist, Mr. Njoroge, to appear before the Joint Committee of Trade and Agriculture that is probing the contraband sugar scandal to also shed light on the matter. Remember, this committee was expected to have given its report on Tuesday, but the matter had to be deferred because they were yet to get all the results from the tests being conducted in different parts of the country by the Kenya Bureau of Standards, which only submitted results of 28 counties and are still awaiting the results of the other counties on the status of the sugar in those particular areas. And also there was the issue of the fact that there was a different report by the government chemist, one that was made public by Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i, that contradicted that by KEBS, that actually reported that there was presence of mercury in sugar in some parts of Nairobi and Bungoma. And these issues really contradicting what the committee had earlier gotten from the Kenya Bureau of Standards, which found that the sugar they had impounded in different parts of the country, and even sugar that was actually in the shelves in the supermarkets, did not have mercury according to KEBS, but only had high levels of copper and lead. So we're waiting to see whether the government chemist will appear this time. Remember, the office of the government chemist, which was initially under the Ministry of Health, was moved to the Interior Ministry owing to the sensitivity of some of the matters that they handle. So we are waiting for a delegation, of course, from the Interior Ministry. We expect also maybe the PS Karanja Kibicho to come in to join Mr. Njoroge, and also the multi-agency team that has actually been involved in the investigations and even the impounding of the over 1.3 tons of sugar in different parts of the country. So, Anjlee, we are really curious to see what the government chemist will say. Yesterday, actually, the report of the government chemist had been brought before the committee, but had to be taken back to await the appearance of the government chemist so that he can actually explain the details of that particular report. So we will be bringing you further details in our subsequent bulletins. My colleague Caleb Ratemo and I at 7 o'clock and at 9 o'clock. But also, maybe just to also give a clarification, is that we have been notified that the meeting has since been pushed forward and they will appear at 2:30 p.m. instead. So, Anjlee, that's what is happening here today. Back to you in studio.
All right, thank you so much, Chemtai, going over there, giving us the latest. And of course, we are waiting for the government chemist to give us the way forward on the contraband sugar. Now, Cabinet Secretary for Health, Cecily Kariuki, joined the Board of Management at Kenyatta National Hospital this morning to launch its fourth strategic plan for the year 2018 to 2023. The strategic plan, which will cost 18.9 billion shillings, will focus on improving the hospital's medical services with the aim of providing universal health care. The plan will focus on revamping the cancer care centre, introducing IVF services, and also bringing the advanced equipment for bone marrow transplant procedures.
This Board Kenyatta National Hospital Strategic Plan has identified key strategic themes which define measures and initiatives taken organized of the current situation in the hospital, recognizing the scarcity of resources that we experience in our country and in most of our areas, we want to see that we have the competing priorities. The plan identifies new measures for funding to improve operational efficiency in our hospital.
I wish to encourage Kenyatta National Hospital to adopt innovative service delivery mechanisms so as to enhance its levels of efficiency and effectiveness in service delivery. I spent a good amount of time yesterday with the chairman and the CEO, and we went through what this may look like in the future, and I'm happy to note that we are aligned as a ministry and a hospital in terms of being innovative so as to stretch the investments that are being made in this hospital.
All right, now sewerage has always been the biggest issue coming to Nairobi City. Now just recently, or rather news just in, we've had a sewerage issue burst in Kariobangi Estate, and our reporter Rachel is on standby where this incident has taken place. Rachel, what exactly is the situation and what are the residents doing? Are there any actions to sort of... Yes, are there any actions being taken to reverse this or fix the issue, rather? Rachel?
Well, Anjali, at the moment, nothing totally is happening. We arrived here around about 2 hours ago, and business is not as usual here. Residents are furious by the burst of the sewer, the main sewer that has a tragedy that has not been resolved for the last 3 days. The sewerage water has been going to people's businesses and people's houses. The things are not so well. And I have one of the locals here, maybe. I can just talk to her and she can just tell us what has been happening.
Okay, my name is Christine Kanan Kobia. I come in Kariobangi South Right Industry. Okay, the tragedy started on Monday when the sewage started flowing in our houses. It started around 11 in the morning. And we call the seniors so that they can come and do the repair so that it can stop flowing in our houses. But they didn't even take any caution. They stayed until 11 in the evening. It's the time when they came, and our belongings, they had already been damaged. That sewage was reaching us behind our thighs, almost our stomach. Even in my house, I doesn't know where to sleep. My TV is already destroyed. My sofa seat, everything is in weird state. My children don't know where they are. From Monday, even school, I don't know where they are. I'm so confused. I'm telling the county government to come and intervene with these things, because you cannot stay in a house.
Let me take it back from... Okay, thank you so much. So far, we are still going to come here and just give you feedback on what is happening, although residents here claim that they have told the authorities that this place, the sewerage has not been resolved yet, and so we are hoping that things will be fine from there. Thank you, Anjali.
I thank you there, Rachel, talking to us from Kariobangi Estate. As you did hear, the residents are complaining that the sewer burst has managed to get into their houses. They're unable to cook, live, and just no action has been taken. That incident happened about 3 days ago, not now, as we had mentioned. Now, moving on, 2 men have been charged at the Malindi Law Courts for defiling minors in Kakuyuni and Maweni villages, beg your pardon for that, in Malindi sub-county. The 2 accused denied the charges before Principal Magistrate Sylvia Wewa and were ordered to pay a cash bail of 300,000 shillings each and a surety of a similar amount. Now, in the first case, John Sharangala denied that on the 6th of April 2018 he defiled Sidi Khanisi and Karisa, an 11-year-old girl at Kakuyuni area in Malindi sub-county, Kilifi County, contrary to Section 8 as read with subsection of Sexual Offences Act And Ngala was arrested on the 23rd July 2018 by police. Now, hearing both of the cases has been set for the 11th of October this year. The second incident, rather, was involving Abdul Abdi Tuku, who was facing 2 charges defiling a young girl, Samuel, at the age of 11 at Mawani area in Malindi sub-county, Kilifi County, on the 11th day of December 2017, touching private parts of the minor. All right, and that brings us to the end of our live bulletin. Thank you for watching. My name is Anjlee Gadhvi, and our sign language interpreter has been Walter Sewe. Sports is up next with none other than Tony Kwalanda. Do have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.